Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
And my favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasts is
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast.
And Rossi.
Ready to go.
Hey there, everyone. It's Curly here, and welcome to the Unfiltered Undiscovered Podcast. We are on episode 187. And once again, we have got just about all corners of the Australian continent covered tonight. So, of course, I'm coming to you from Brisbane here in Queensland. Underneath, we've got Braggy, who is in his second home of Agnes Water in Queensland. And, of course, we've got Rossi also down below tonight, who's from the capital city of the music capital city of Sydney. And we've got an amazing guest tonight and another one of these amazing homegrown artists coming out of the Kimberley / area of WA. We've got Savannah Solomon. So how are we all? So welcome, Savannah, and how are you, Braggy? How are you, Rossi?
Thank you.
I'm excellent, Curly. Like you said, I'm normally in Adelaide, so it would have even been spread more around the country. But I'm back up here again. We've got to play at a festival next weekend with my good friend Wax. Just a small festival, and yeah, it's just good to be up in the north. It's getting cold in Adelaide, so it's good to be up here. I came up. I was supposed to get the train. I flew into Brisbane. I was supposed to get the train, the tilt train, but they're doing work on the tracks, so I had to get on a bus.
Ooh.
They put us on buses, which wasn't. But I just have to tell this story quickly. I sat next to this lady. Well, she got on at the second stop, and she was 83, Rossi, and she was the youngest of 15, and she was born in Nazi-occupied Amsterdam.
Oh, yeah?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I knew there'd be a song on the bus. So from Amsterdam to Agnes, it's got to be a song, hasn't it?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really?
Anyway, I'll tell you guys later about it. Yeah, she had so many things to say. She was sprightly for 83 as well.
So I take it, Braggy, you're not the type that puts your headphones on and blocks out everyone else. You start talking to whoever's going to sit next to you.
I had my headphones on, and normally on a plane I'd be like that, but it's different on a bus. You know?
Yeah.
And so she got on. There was no one next to me, and then she got on, and I thought I better take my headphones off, be polite. She was an older lady as well. She's going to Harvey Bay.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Anyway,
Excellent. So, Rossi, any news in your part of the world apart from you lost the cheese out of the Roosters, who's going to one of your least favourite sides in Souths?
I think you'll find that it will make both sides better.
All right. And I guess before we start talking with Savannah, because that's the reason why we're here, the other reason why we're here is the footy tipping, Braggy. So after Curly's disastrous one from 8 last weekend, or the weekend before, what happened last weekend?
well, I just thought I'd follow Rossi on the rugby league tips. That doesn't
bad. I was watching every game, and it's getting really close. And then it is tip. They kept on flipping in the second half on me. I'm like, you're kidding.
Yeah,
it was an interesting weekend.
So you've skipped away again, Curly. So you're out in front again. So we've got to catch you back up.
Yeah,
We need some upsets, Rossi.
Wait for the bye round.
And Rossi, you seem to have a very interesting day at work.
I did today. We're in production rehearsal for another fabulous Chinese opera, and it is spectacular. Like this show is big. There's a 10-piece orchestra, all using traditional Chinese instruments. There's 7 backdrop changes in each song, which is one song for each section, goes for 30 minutes.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So the whole show goes for about 4.5 hours, but it is like just doing those Chinese operas. I do a lot of cultural work in the theatre I work in. So I run these theatres for a local organisation, and just it's spectacular. You just get exposed to so much different culture. We are unsure whether it's good quality or bad quality. We just don't know.
So, Rossi, you're learning how to mic up those crazy instruments, like what's the big one that with all the strings on it?
Absolutely. Oh, we do all that sort of stuff. We do a lot of it. We probably do maybe 10 of them a year. So we're pretty well. They kind of like us. They're very used to coming in and trusting what we do and knowing that what we do is the way they want it. But it's a fascinating. Yeah, like we get to do Bollywood shows. We get to do all sorts of different things. But this one in particular is kind of like this. The show's tomorrow, and we set up on Tuesday. We rehearsed today, and the show's tomorrow, and it will be big. The costuming and stuff just is incredible. It really is. It's really good fun. It's a good fun day at work.
Yeah, and some of the photos you shared with us today in our group chat looked like they could have been a member of the Psychotic Turnbuckle. So
look like the Inflictor's grandfather. I saw that guy, and I said to the front of house guy who was working with me, I said, I just saw him backstage when he took off his wig and he took off his beard and all that sort of stuff. He looked the same age.
Wow.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
Savannah.
Savannah.
Yeah. Let's start talking to you, because you were crowned 2024 Emerging Artist of the Year at the WA Country Music Awards. You're another one from that wonderful region. We've spoken with Adele Oliver before, and the region just is captured in her music. And I think on my what I was listening to, it's captured in yours. So
I'm glad you said that.
Even more so, I think.
Yeah, fascinated to speak with you. And as we always do, we push Braggy out the front to start the questions.
Okay, what's the question?
Look, it's simple. It's nothing hard, Savannah. I just like to know how people first discover music, whether it was in your family. And I guess if you grew up, which I think you did grow up there in the Kimberley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty remote. I just wonder what was the first time you went, this music. I love music. That's what I want to do. Did your parents play or?
My dad played guitar when I was younger. I've actually I'm going to get a photo. I think sorry, give me a second.
Oh yeah, we like show and tell. We like show and tell.
Yeah, that's good. That's good sort of stuff.
I think it's the best photo ever. That's me and my dad.
Oh,
how cute is that? So he played guitar when I was younger. Just
any father is going to make me cry.
Yeah. And so I was definitely always intrigued because of that. I thought he was the coolest dude ever. So I thought I'd better start playing. So I started playing guitar when I was like 7. And then my parents always played music around the house. Like I remember being like, I think I was like 7 years old dancing to Smokey, like out the back.
Oh, yeah.
And just had the coolest music. Fleetwood Mac, Smokey, Eagles, Creedence Clearwater, Joe Cocker, just everything like that. Like it was awesome.
Yeah. I can hear that in your music.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I'm so glad.
Yeah. I had really the stuff I was listening to today. I thought that there was a kind of a. It's interesting you mentioned that your backstory's got all that sort of stuff in it, because I was saying there was this real maturity in what you're playing, but a real sort of authenticity to that sort of, like I love lap steel, I love slide, I love all that sort of all those country instruments as they stood. But for what I heard in what you're playing, that's really stood out to me. The maturity, like for a woman as young as you, I thought that it was really kind of a very authentically country style, like more than like less country pop, more country. I thought.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really a fan of country pop.
I'm not even going to put Savannah in the country field. Really, I'd just folk.
Yeah, it's folk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of that.
It kind of crosses genres in a sense, which I kind of like, And when I write a song, I'm not going to go, I'm going to write a country pop song. I just write what I write, and then whatever it turns into, it turns into. And I like that. There's no, I'm not putting it in a box.
Yeah. And so reading your backstory as well, like you actually played in a band for a number of years before you sort of went solo, which is often it's the other way around. Is they sort of start as a solo act and then start building a band around. So you played in a band for like 3-4 years, was it?
Yeah, yep. I played in a band called Savannah and the Strays, and it kind of started out like that because I'd finished school and then decided I was kind of deciding whether to go to uni or to study music, and I thought, nah, stuff it. I want to do something fun, you know. For the next 2 years. So I studied music for 2 years, did like an advanced diploma, and I met a bunch of guys there, and we started the band, and then from that we just kept on doing it. We had so much fun, did heaps of gigs for diddly squat, but it was fun.
I'll tell you what's refreshing for me, and I don't want to disrespect anybody else that we've had on the show, but it's so good to hear a bunch of songs that are actually about something. Do you know what I'm saying, Rossi? That are got some heart, that they've all got a message for me. So,
Thank you.
You're not disrespecting anyone because it's just the four of us.
Okay. You know what I'm trying to say. It's just I just like.
I do know what you're saying.
Writes about something and not tries to, like just Savannah just said, tries to write a pop song or whatever.
Is that honesty stuff again about songwriting? The honesty of a songwriter.
Honest and heartfelt.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
I really like Magnolias.
Thank you.
That was really, that was, but I love the lap steel in it, and I love the acoustic guitars. It sounded great to me sonically. It was fantastic because that's one of the things I get distracted if it doesn't sound good to me.
Okay.
It sounded great. So how'd you make that? Who'd you work with on that, and how'd that come about?
So a wonderful guy called Josh Dyson, and he is incredibly talented. He has a studio in Osborne Park, called Villa Studios. He lectures at TAFE, so he plays like pretty much played. So I played acoustic guitar and sang, and then I had some people do sing backing vocals, some friends of mine, and someone came in and played the guitar, and then he played every other instrument on Magnolias, all the other guitars. I think there might be a bit of organ or something in there as well, bass as well, but incredibly talented, and it's just nice to be around someone that actually, I feel like he believes in my music. You know, I feel like that adds that extra element, you know. He's not just doing it for money. He does it because he loves it, which is cool.
It makes it a lot more fun to work with a producer like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So he's definitely added that little extra bit of magic that I needed, I think.
Tell us about who that's about, because you had me at sometimes I wonder why I'm here. Like, if that's the opening line, I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm in. Tell me why you're here. So tell us about that lady. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I wrote it at a time. So it's inspired by the movie Still Magnolias, which is about being a strong woman and being resilient and all that. And I really wanted to write a song to acknowledge my nana. And it was funny, at the time I wrote it, I was just going through a really difficult time. I think I got in an argument with someone at work, and I was like, what am I doing? And I just felt really lost in life. And I don't know, it kind of created this like inner bit of rage. And I was thinking about being a woman and, you know, the hardships that my nana has endured, and just kind of me being on the path less traveled and doing my own thing. And then I just thought, you know what, I'm going to write this song. And then I just sat down and wrote it.
So was your nana, she was up in the Kimberley as well?
No, my nana's based down south. But
okay.
Yeah, she's got some incredible stories of, you know, she lost her first husband in a shooting accident. She gave up her first child because it was born out of wedlock. And there's just, you know, just stuff that she endured. And I don't know, I just felt like at the time I was going through a difficult time in my life, but I was like, I've been put here for a reason. I'm on this path, and I'm, you know, and I just got to keep at it, you know, so just about being that strong woman.
I'll tell you something that works in it is the drums. It's that marching beat, because you get the sense of strength and marching through life with your chin up.
I love that.
That's what I got.
Yeah, thank you. I never thought of it like that, but so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, to me, it's really it's a compelling song. And I think last week I mentioned, or in a recent episode, I mentioned Kim Churchill as an influence on one of the bands that one of the people we're listening to. But there's a real sense of Kim Churchill in my mind, anyway, when I listen to Magnolias. And
fantastic! I love Kim Churchill.
yeah, so the lyrics come out, it's centerpiece, and then the song sort of evolves around the lyrics in so many ways with what Kim does, and obviously what I've heard in Magnolias. So well done, great stuff.
Thank you. That's what I want my lyrics to be, like the center focus. Really, that's. I want people to listen to the story. That's the whole point for me. Otherwise, it just gets lost.
Good. I've got plenty more.
Sometimes I wonder why I'm here. This time, this place, surrounded by fear. But this journey has been laid out for me. When you can't see the road, it's your destiny.
Now, I've got plenty more lyrics of yours to go through.
Oh, lovely! Oh my gosh, keep at it. It's nice to ask these questions for once.
Braggy's such a swat.
Well, I've got more time than these two guys. These two guys both work, and I'm just a bludger muso. So,
I love that.
I'm pretty lucky. So I guess I'm expected to do a little bit more. Listen to it a little bit more. But I really like the photo too. That's the photo of your nan.
Yeah,
and
that's
the Magnolia font. I just pick up on all those little things. And so before this, you had the little mini album out.
Yep, the EP.
EP, we call it. And
Where the river meets the sea.
Yes.
Where the river meets the sea. Right. You've been swatting it too, Rossi. So is there more? Is this just? Are you going to just I'm just fishing for what's coming next for you from you?
Oh, I've recorded 2 other songs at the moment that I am very keen to get out. I just need to get them mastered at the moment, I think. Okay. So it's definitely, I'm hoping to get another 2 singles out this year. I also want to kind of change it up and do a blues EP down the track, but I have no idea when that's going to happen. You would understand being creative. You have all these plans and sometimes you get change directions quickly. Blues EP would be awesome as well. I've loved the blues, and just to change it up a bit.
Well, one thing I really like is just the space in the song. In the
song. They're not cluttered, are they?
No. And that's another thing that what I spoke about before that I didn't want to respect anything, but some of them songs have just got too much for me stuff in them, and I guess it reflects where you're from. I mean, it really does sound like, if there's a sound to Kimberley or to any part in Australia where it's that open land, open wilderness. So just keep it like that. Keep it open and lots of space. It gives you a feeling then, and it's Australian. Your voice sounds Australian. Waxy, my mate, said it when I played it to him this afternoon. He said, "Oh, she sounds like Missy Higgins." And so, you like Missy Higgins? Yeah. So, did you pick up on that, Rossi?
Yeah, it's that same sort of look. There's a dialect right around the country. There's different dialects, right?
Yes.
And we don't, like, all Queenslanders sound the same to us, right?
Intelligent.
Well, yeah, that'll do. But people, but there's certain things, and you're right in that, like that, for that sound of the Northwest sort of,
There's definitely a sound from the Kimberley, isn't there? At the moment,
We're
discovering that.
We're seeing that. Well, like we do speak to a lot of people who work in the country space around the country, around Australia, and there's distinctly different sounds for where whatever region people come from. I think we're starting to identify that as we delve more into that world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you put the waifs in there. You know, it's very. There's a lot of similarities between your stuff and the waifs, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I know even the Teskey brothers are different kind of music, but it's not really. It's still got that open. I don't know. There's something about that soulful feel.
Yeah, and I love what you were saying before about how there's a lot of openness in my song. And I remember listening to an artist called Abby May. She's from Perth, and she was talking about her album, and she mentioned it, and it's something that's always stuck with me. She said, like, everything has to have a use in a song. Like, if it's just there, like, you know what I mean? Like, everything has to be there for a reason. There's no point just adding all these different flavors. It has to have
that's such a good point. Yeah.
But that's like the great old journalism maxim that if you can edit a sentence and take a word out and it doesn't change the meaning, it didn't belong there anyway.
Yes.
You know?
Totally true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the editing trick. You just keep on taking stuff out, and if it doesn't change it, it didn't belong anyway, right?
Yeah.
So like you've gone down the path. You're dropping singles and small recordings at the moment, and that's kind of the modern way of doing things. Because we often discuss that with performers. Is that a conscious decision, or is it a budgetary one, or is it like we're slammed for resources as we try to get releases out to try and get them over the line? So.
Yeah, I feel like it's just how it's kind of worked out with these songs. I've written a song and then I've contacted Josh Dyson straight away going, I want to record it. And to me, the songs sound incredibly different from one another. So I don't think they would, I don't know, it could work in it like a body, like an EP. But it's just how I've been doing it. And that's the only way to describe it. Really,
we're consciously trying to understand what the new business model going forward is, because for performers, it's hard. Because if you drop an album, you've got 9 songs that may not get the love they deserve.
That's true, and I found
they are like your children.
Yeah, even with my EP, there's some songs that I feel like, dark horses, like they haven't got the love that they've deserved, and I think it's because it kind of came out as a whole body, and I think definitely releasing them as singles, they just get a bit more traction, a bit more tension on each song.
And you can stay on message. You can stay on message when you're talking about them, right?
Sorry, say that again?
You can stay on message when you're talking about them because you've got a distinct focus. That at the moment you're dealing with Magnolias, that's what you're working on. But if you've got 4 songs to talk about, the message can get a little bit confused.
Totally true. And like I said, like the sound in these songs lately has been totally different. And I love that. Like, I'm not confined. I think with the body of work, we kind of have to have a similar sound. But I feel like with my EP, it's somewhat similar, but every song is incredibly different as well, if that makes sense. So it's hard to, you kind of got to have a little bit of similarity.
It's because it's a fast world and everyone wants the thing, but I think your music suits more a bigger piece of. I think that I listened to that thing today. I think that's more of a whole. I know what Rossi's saying. You want to focus on the one thing, and then that's the way. And because people can just freaking download one song or listen to just take that one song and put it in their playlist. That's why.
Yeah.
And I just hope that maybe in the future people can say, oh no, I want the whole thing because it's a whole big piece of art, and it needs to be listened to all one after the other in that order for it to like a mural.
Yes. It's such a process though when it comes to recording an EP, and you have to make sure you're recording that many songs, you're lining it up and you're figuring out what parts you've done and you haven't done, and it's easy to forget certain bits, and then you realize you focus on one song a bit more than the other, and then you're like, oh no, and it's hard work, but it's definitely a process. Like there's nothing better. Like when I did that EP, I was in the studio for I think 5 days straight.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. Like
Yeah. And that's quick.
yeah. Yeah.
That's quick to do. To
But
produce that
for an
many
EP,
songs.
it's funny you should say that. I got into a bit of a discussion with someone about it, and I know someone who went in and did like they tracked it in 4 days, mixed it in 2, and got an EP done. And these punk people like going, "Why'd you take so long doing that record?"
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
To which we said, "Have a listen to that, and have a listen to something that was done in a day. Get back to me."
Yeah.
Mm,
Well,
very
the Beatles' first album was done in a day.
Yeah, but they only had 4
But
tracks.
they
in
had
those
George
days.
Martin. Yeah.
But like it takes time to like you got to give the art the love it deserves. Everyone's got a different process too, I reckon. Yeah. Like,
yeah, definitely.
So
what songs do you think didn't get the love on the River Mix?
Oh, well, one of my favorite songs on there. I think it did get the love, but I would have. The Desert is one of my
You
favorite.
got the love from me. You got the love from me on that one.
Sorry, say that again.
You got the love from me on that one.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I just felt like
It's a waltz for a start.
a whole
It's
EP
rare.
like that, and it was just like a real soundscape, ethereal kind of vibe, which I felt like was really different to the other stuff. Change as well is a beautiful song, but I did that live, and now I wonder whether I could have just not done it live and done it a bit differently, but it's still beautiful because it's kind of very raw, and it's not.
That one does seem like it's tagged on the end a little bit.
Yes, definitely. I agree. I would love to do that again.
A lot of your music, but comes out as that really raw, authentic sort of sound. It seems that they tend to fit in because of that theme. And looking and listening to you, reading about you, and meeting you tonight, I can sense there's still a fair bit of this journey to go for you as well. So. And I'm just looking at what your publicist has sent through. So Savannah and the Strays, you were like this rock queen at night, it says. And I'm thinking, okay, and then that's completely divorced from where you are now as an artist in what we're hearing. And now you're heading into that bluesy type of feel. So this journey just sounds fascinating that you're on. And where do you see it going? Like, where does it stop, or does it stop?
It won't ever stop. I can tell you that. I'll just keep creating my whole life. You know what it's like as a musician. You just keep going, and I will just go wherever it takes me. To be honest, like whether that's writing a blues EP or starting another rock band up, or I don't know, turning pop country. No, that's the last thing you'll see me do. But I'm open to anything. Hey, and that's the exciting thing. Like I think about all these songs that I'm yet to write, which is pretty, because that's my passion is my lyric writing and my songwriting, and that's why I think I kind of deterred from the band. Was I felt like it didn't have the space for my stories. And I think I always have that element in there.
I was just going to ask you whether it was the songwriting or the performing does it for you, and I suspected it was the songwriting. I was wondering whether you travelled from a rock band over to being a solo artist using heavy machinery.
Oh,
good question.
Oh yeah,
good question.
That's what I did in my grader.
Tell us a bit about that too. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I work in an iron ore mine pit in the Pilbara as a grader operator, week on, week off. So I've only been doing it for a year recently. I got in as like a woman new to mining. And it's been so much fun. I kind of went into it not really knowing what to expect, and I love it. It's great, and it suits my lifestyle to a T. When I'm not there, I'm completely doing my music. I'm fully in, and then and then it's nice to have a break from music and to be on a grader. Yeah.
Is it driving a grader like I used to work for Australia Post, so I used to deliver like parcels, and it'd be just like, I'm not trying to compare that. Don't laugh, but I just found myself. Let me get to the point, you dickheads.
I nearly spat my water out there.
The point is, it became such a second nature thing to me that I would find myself writing songs while I was, because it was such a nothing thing. Or do you have to concentrate too much when you're a grader driver?
No, I feel like at the start when I was learning the grader, I definitely had to concentrate. But now I'm at a point where I don't have to think as much, and I am such a daydreamer. So I'm just like constantly thinking of song ideas, like when I'm bored, or usually it's like, because it's so like where we're working, like the scenery is spectacular. So you can totally imagine how that would inspire my music, and just that lifestyle as well. Like I love getting like all these stories like that of like like what a miner does and like day to day, and people around Australia and different stories, and like points.
But
which is very cool.
daily you're with working people though too, like realistically hard working people day in day out.
Yeah, definitely. But it can be isolating because I'm on a grader for 10.5 hours like a day, so I don't really have any that social connection. But it's funny it's very inspiring when you're around those types of people, and like you got to have a sense of humor out there, and there's some interesting people, I tell you.
So Savannah, just in terms of scale, then the grader that you currently operate in comparison to the
Australia Post.
The grader I'm on is the biggest grader in the world. It's a 24M grader.
Wow.
It's huge. It is
so
huge.
you would crush
your truck. It was squash.
Pick my van up. Yeah.
You'd scoop the van up and flip it over your head.
Yeah.
Savannah would be able to deliver my delivery van.
That's the way.
But I wasn't describing it in that sense. I wasn't making that comparison, boys.
No.
That's the same as when we were talking to the fellow who was the Telstra lineman, and he'd be driving out in the bush and be riding when he's on the road. And I think that's the rhythm of machinery helps. I remember I worked at a book library and the machines were going, and you're hearing rhythms in your head, and you're hearing polyrhythms, and all of a sudden the machines kick in, and you hear other sounds going. Yeah. It's a really unique experience. It's like a meditation in a strange sort of way,
Yes, and I'm constantly music as well on the grader. Like when you're in there for 10.5 hours, you need something to keep you going. So that's been great because it's led me to new artists. Like I just put it on shuffle, and discovering all these new artists while I'm at work is pretty cool.
That's a good way. That's a really good way to do it.
So before Magnolias, you had River Meets the Sea, and is that about a hometown?
Yeah, so where I'm based now. I'm based pretty much in the Moore River region, and Gilton, which is about 15 minutes drive from where I am, is where Moore River meets the ocean. And it's just about growing up in a small country town and wanting to get out of that small country town, but knowing that sometimes you got to sacrifice some things, like me doing FIFO work and all that. And sometimes you just got to put your head down and work hard to kind of get to where you want to go. And one day it will work out.
Yeah. The film clip is magnificent, and it really creates that imagery for that small country town. And what I find fascinating is people that live in small country towns, and I was raised in a small country town in New South Wales. And but every time, and you just couldn't wait to get out. But then as you get older, you can't wait to go back because you just feel a sense of belonging, or it's like putting your feet back on almost, I won't use the word sacred soil, but it just feels like you're grounded back when you go back. And that was the sense that I picked up when I was listening to that song. I was not necessarily there's no river meeting the sea where I was raised, but it gave me that sense.
I love that. That's so beautiful to think of it that way. And it's funny because as time has gone on, like I'm still living here. I'm living here with my parents while working FIFO, trying to, make a life for myself. But I do appreciate it more and more every day, especially being surrounded by, the nature that surrounds you. And also you would understand growing up in a small country town, like the community, I think when I do eventually move out of this, out of Moore River, like I want to move to another country town. Like I'm just, like I'm not a city person. Like take me to the country, please.
The city's got some advantages, I must say.
It is nice. It is nice. It's good for gigging and stuff, but
we couldn't move. We couldn't drive around here. It took someone 40 minutes to travel 2 kilometers because the new Mexican restaurant opened on the corner down the road from us.
Oh, wow.
True story.
Like
oh, wow.
That's big city life for you.
Sorry. I was going to say the lyric from that song, that where the river meets the sea, for me is, it's hard to move forward in such a stagnant place when your dreams can move mountains. But where you work, your grader could move mountains as well.
Yeah.
So
that's great. It definitely can.
Yeah.
It can definitely help the trucks move and move some more and move some money for the company, Hopefully it can help me, move some money too.
Talking about your lyrics, this might be controversial. This might seem like it's right, but I don't know, especially in the song Binoculars. That's my favorite.
Oh, really? Oh, I love that one too.
Well, I like the birds, watching the birds in the backyard, and there's a line you say in there about small things. I think I remember when I was a kid, my mum would always take me out in the backyard when I was little and show me, look at the little ladybug on the thing, and it's doing, or there's a trail of ants. She would always show me all these little things,
Oh, that's awesome.
But the way you write, and I'm going to compare it almost to someone who's nothing like country at all, and that's Courtney Barnett. She just writes these sentences. They don't have to rhyme, but it's just a stream of, you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't sometimes you don't write in verse. It's like just a story, but if you sing it so it fits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recognize
I've
that.
never thought of it like that, but I think you're right.
You know how Courtney Barnett sings, and she's just singing a story. She's just telling you what happened in that day.
Yeah, well, it's like
song the way it starts out for my birthday. My dad bought me these binoculars, and I did this. It's just like a line, which is it's hard to do.
Yeah, that's so true. Another artist from WA that's really good at that is Jack Davies. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Jack Davies and the Bush Chooks. You should check him out.
Great name.
It sounds like someone we'd like.
Check his stuff out, but there's something beautiful to his writing. Makes the mundane sound really, really magical in a sense. But I'm glad you mentioned that. That's rather nice.
It's okay.
Braggy is the king of the deep dive, isn't he?
Yeah,
I love that.
Get more time, guys.
So you watch him now. Now he's going to go and try and get an exclusive out of you.
A scoop, yeah. But before we go and try and let Braggy dive in, I really liked Rainbow, and I really liked the concept around Rainbow too. That you can't have a rainbow without rain, and I was just thinking, that's a really nice. Once again, it's the rainbow is something of beauty, but to get a rainbow, you actually need, to have the rain. It's almost like that. What's that Fleetwood Mac song about? Thunder only happens when it's raining. So,
Dreams.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I really liked Rainbow. I enjoyed that.
Oh, thank you. I feel like that's one of my, it's one of my proudest pieces of work, just lyrically. And, I wrote that song in memory of someone, and sadly, he took his life. So for me, it's a big one about mental health, and, the words to it are just so important and so authentic. And
that's so
I saw a rainbow, and I thought of you. The world cried me a rainbow, means we'll be just fine. We need a little rain to see the sunshine. We need pain to see ourselves grow. It takes rain to make a rainbow.
And
Yeah.
That's so
It's-
important.
yeah,
but that ability to write the truth about what you see and how the world lives, it's and we discussed it before that it's kind of cathartic for a songwriter as well. And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't have that outlet,
I feel so blessed every day that somehow I've come across this gift that I can write these, pretty good songs and share them with the world, because for me it's it's what's kept me going as well. We all go through hard times, and it's like you said, cathartic. It's my way to figure out the world and what I'm doing as well. So it's awesome.
Tell me about some of these festivals in WA, because they sound fascinating, and I've seen a couple of live clips of Adele Oliver playing at, I think, the Boyer Brook Country Music Festival, and that just looked like a bunch of people just hanging around a stage and sitting back on their camp chairs, and it just looked really, really cool. And and one of the things that I'm learning about WA music is that, and Braggy, I always used to talk about, the whether a song was a Sunday session, or an all nighter,
The whole state's a Sunday session.
The whole state's a Sunday session.
I love that.
I know what you're saying, Kimberley. I know exactly what you're saying. That's what we're trying to find here in this music. It's got that. It's different, isn't it? I really like the WA stuff. It's really
so tell us about the festivals. What are they like?
So much fun. Like, I remember Boyer Brook Country Music Festival. I think I played that maybe 7 years ago with my band, and me and a bunch of boys rocking up in a van, cooking our own burgers, being absolutely feral out the back on this festival, and just having the best time, getting backstage, meeting all these artists. I remember, that was my first festival, so it was a big deal. And we just had so much fun. We were boot scooting, dancing the night away. But I absolutely love the festivals here. Even Nannup Music Festival is another fantastic festival, and they have like a different range of like genres and stuff, and that's like 3 days of just community, really. Like, you're seeing all these artists that a lot of people know everyone, and it's not just music. You've got like workshops and art projects, and it's just so inspiring. That's what I love about it.
When you play live now, you just play solo, or you've got a band?
So I do play with a band. So Josh Dyson, who I was saying records me, so he plays bass, which is very cool.
The most important bass member of any band, Braggy.
Absolutely.
Yes, he's legendary. And I've got a drummer and a lead guitarist as well. And then recently I actually did a gig at a church, and it was more stripped back, and I had a violinist and a backing vocalist, and that was
wow.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and there was harmonies, and it was just, you can imagine a church, like the echo. The acoustics was just absolutely amazing. So I mostly do solo shows, and like here and there I'll do a couple of band shows, because I want to try and make them more special kind of thing, bring people along and make them unique.
There's got to be a reason to do a show.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And that's the beauty of, I'm working FIFO at the moment, and it's a bit of a lifestyle change, but I think back in the day as a musician, and doing it hard with money, I used to say yes to a lot of gigs just for the money. And now I'm, it's nice to just do it purely because I love it, and I can be picky with what the shows I want to do, and I can do it's quality over quantity any day.
quantity burns you out. You
It
waste you
does.
waste your time and energy on shit gigs. I hate to
Mhm.
say it, but yeah, you need to not do that because
Yes.
you've got to give people a reason to come and see you too. You've got to make them miss you a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I totally
Yeah.
agree. And I've done that. I've burnt myself out that many times.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you, Rossi.
yeah. It's a common phenomena, I reckon, and it's not
Mm.
just anyway. Yeah.
The exact
Mm.
opposite of what we're seeing in Agnes Water, because Braggy's not giving the people up there a
I'm
chance.
taking it for all I got. Taking it for all I got.
He's turned up with a carpet bag.
Look, I only come up here to hang with my mate, really.
Yeah, that's right. You're doing it for. There's your reason, right there.
That's my reason.
You've got a
yeah.
reason
And,
for doing it. Yeah.
and
There's
it's,
the reason.
it's starting to get a little bit cold in Adelaide now. I have to wear the
Yeah.
jumper up there. So.
Yeah,
I've got to go
I
up and do
know,
some gigs up north. Sorry, darling.
I'll be
Savannah-
back in 3 months.
Savannah, one of the things that I'm seeing in the country scene, and you've talked a little bit about country pop, and what I sort of, because we're not country aficionados, but we're becoming that way. We're learning a lot more about the country scene.
Yeah.
But what I'm really appreciative of is this fresh wave of female country artists coming through,
Yeah.
because they all have their own
Yeah.
unique, authentic storytelling that they're sharing. And then
Yeah.
when we talk about the guys, and we've talked to some of them, like Matt Ward, for example, who's a bit of a storyteller, and some of them are really coming out of that authentic style, but some of them
Tradition, yeah.
just try to be the cookie cutter. There's my formula. That's what I want to put out. It's going to be country pop. It's going to be hometown beers with the boys, and it's almost like there's the
Pickup truck.
formula, rinse and repeat. And what
It's
I'm
party night.
seeing and hearing from the fresh country coming through with the females especially, it is about the story. It is about that authentic. It might be a slower journey for the artist, but I'm really getting a lot out of that. So is that something that you're conscious of, or is that just something?
Totally. Like, that's the last thing I want to be is cookie cutter, mate. And I can't stand cookie cutter and just that generic sound. But I think there's definitely been a change recently. Like, I think people are really, I don't know if it's just the way the world is at the moment, but people are searching for authentic stories, real stories, not just the cheesy cookie cutter stuff you're talking about. Like, I look at artists, the big artists that I like Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, even Sierra Farrell. Like, their stories are just so unique and different, and their lyric writing is amazing. That's the kind of stuff that I froth. So yeah, it's nice to see more artists, and female artists as well, just honing in on that authentic storytelling and being authentic. I feel like it's a hard thing to be these days sometimes.
And also the sound. You said the best thing that earlier when you said every little part of the song is important. That's so good. That's what.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you know what I mean, Rossi. That's what makes this sound. This is really Australian music. It's not.
It is. It is.
Nothing.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Thank you. And it's funny, like, because one of the artists that was in the studio with me that sung backing vocals, she said to me, "You sound so Australiano," and I was like, I can't even tell. Like, I'm just so.
No, I'm not so much talking about the accent though either. It's not just the accent.
Yeah.
It's not just the accent. It's the space. It gives me the feeling of Australia.
It does.
Yeah. And I can't say that, but it's just because it's what I do.
But it is what you do.
Yeah.
That's right. Just keep doing it.
Thank you.
Don't change anything.
But see, if Americana's a thing, Australiana can be a thing too, right?
Exactly, Rossi.
Totally.
So right, mate.
And I just think, it's there's always been a distinctly Australian vibe around a lot of music that's come out of here, and it doesn't, and we can't hear it because we're here, right?
Yeah.
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 But I can definitely hear when someone's trying to not be here.
Yeah, but none of us have got an accent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except your New South Wales people.
Oh, stop it. Yeah,
All
mate.
right. So,
Yeah, mate.
so Savannah,
Over the
what's
nose.
in the pipeline? So we sort of diverted from Braggy digging for a scoop. So what's in the pipeline? What's coming up?
Oh, I am going to Melbourne actually shortly for a couple of gigs there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
July, I think I'm playing at Newport Folk Festival. It's a little folk festival. Got a couple of gigs there as well that I'm yet to solidify. And then I've got a Southwest tour, but I'm just going to keep releasing songs. And, you know, this is my first show in July outside of WA. So I'd really like to start to go to different states. If you guys have any connections, let me know. But I just want to get out as much as possible. And, you know, like look, I've got big dreams, but purely like I'm having fun. I'm just enjoying it. And that's all that matters for me. Like I keep writing songs and gigging.
Well, what's good is there's always Tamworth, and if you go to Tamworth, right, you can get on the red carpet. If you get on the red carpet, you can do a shout out to the boys. There you go. Got it out, fellas. I like it.
Yeah, the folk
that,
festival.
sure.
Though. Folk sounds. I think
Folks more you, yeah.
Savannah's more folk. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I love that. Thank you.
And heading into that blues hour, I'm excited to hear
blues.
the
Oh,
blues.
I'm interested in that too, yeah.
Yeah, blues is folk, really.
But if you've played in a band, you've got to kind of, touched on the blues before anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I feel like it all kind of, it's like that roots music. It's going back to what it was. You know what I mean? Like all of the amalgamation. Like I just love all of that. And it's combining the storytelling, like, you know, so yeah, I can't wait to show you guys my blues stuff because I think it's pretty good.
Well, you are always welcome on the show, Savannah. So,
thank you.
And we would love to chat to you again when the blue stuff comes out because I'm excited. So, and once again, one of the little things that I wrote down here is the songs I'm yet to write, and I think that's a real determination of the journey that you're on because who knows what's in the future? Who knows what's going to be that inspiration? But I'm guessing it's going to be authentic storytelling all the way, and that just excites me, no matter what the style of music. So
thank you. Yeah,
all right. So tell us about as we start to wrap up and wind up, social media. How do you find that, and which is your favorite platform for people to find you on?
So I have Instagram and Facebook. Social media is a tricky one because, to be honest, I can't stand it half the time, but I know I have to be on it to reach people. But to be honest, it's the exact same as songwriting. I try and be as authentic as possible. Like, it's as easy as that. If you're not authentic, it comes really hard. Like, you make it more difficult for yourself, you know? So, you know, I show other aspects of my life, like, might update people on what I'm doing, you know, in the FIFO world, or, you know, like I love op shopping. I'll just randomly show people my op shop finds on social media. So I'm just completely.
I know that works, actually. I know that one works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Angus is big on that, Rossi, isn't he?
Oh, massive. My son, he's a musician as well, and he does a lot of clothing related fashion things. He goes back shopping
that's
and buys
so
stuff all the time.
cool. I love that. But yeah, I think it's important just to show up and be your authentic self because people dig that and to share that other side of you. Because, you know, I am a musician. I love that, but I'm also more than that, you know?
Yeah.
And life inspires me. So why not share that? Like when I'm, you know, I've got a van and I travel around WA and like I love just doing that. I'll just take photos of all the adventures I go on when I do these gigs and meet all these people. Like it's pretty cool.
That's very, very cool.
Really is.
Yeah. Savannah, I'll make sure I've got your links in our show notes so people can check you out on social media, follow you on Spotify or Apple Music or and I think I'll throw in your YouTube channel as well because even though there's not a great deal on there, it really highlights who you are as an artist, and it's that Sunday session, almost sitting around the campfire type of vibe, the back deck,
I
And
love that.
Yeah, it's definitely a camp chair. Yeah.
there's a camp chair. There is a camp chair, and you're chilling, and you've got a cold beer or whatever you relax with, and it's
Yeah,
it's that style of music. So,
love that.
Braggy, did you get your scoop? Are you happy?
Yeah, oh mate, I love Savannah. I really like it. This one of the that little EP is one of the best things I've listened to from people from the show for a while. I don't mean disrespect to anybody else we've had on, but I don't know. It's songs that I relate to, like the birds and the trees and it's just good words too.
I did think it was right up. I thought it was right up your alley, Braggy.
Did you?
I really did.
Yeah, I thought you
I did. Yeah.
I'm so glad. Thank you, Braggy. I really appreciate that.
That's
I'm so glad
okay.
that someone
me.
likes it. You know, that's what
Well,
I
more people need to like it. So hopefully, those of this show, they go. You need a lot more. Streams on your. You don't have enough.
Yeah.
So people listening to this, make sure you'll love it. I'm telling you, people.
Thank you.
I would
Do yourself
agree.
a favor.
Do you? Yeah. Get the hat out. I need my hat. Hang on.
If
Do yourself.
if you like Kim Churchill, if you like that style of music, I would be getting onto Savannah, because it is to me it's very, very similar, and of course Braggy has mentioned some.
And I don't say that every week, do I?
No.
Just so Savannah knows I'm not bullshitting.
I think from a perspective, we've listened to we've spoken to some amazing artists, and who connected with their music, and for Braggy to be saying that really, it doesn't downgrade anyone else. It just highlights what you're putting out.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Thank you. Well said, Curly. Curly, you always fix my gaffes.
I try.
That's why he's the captain. That's why he's the captain.
Skipper. Thank you, Skipper.
Savannah, it's been absolutely wonderful speaking with you tonight, and we just wish you the very best. I'm not going to ask you about Nashville, because somehow I'm thinking Nashville and Savannah doesn't necessarily fit at the moment.
I'm trying to find my niche at the moment. I think that's the thing what you guys have really mentioned as well. You know, my sound, it's got a niche, and I'm trying to find that market. So
That's what you got to do.
Trying to find what does fit. So
and you've got to find your tribe, and that tribe's going to share where your journey's going to end as well.
Well, you're playing at Newport in Melbourne, the Newport Folk Festival, and there's another famous Newport festival that was a folk festival.
I know.
Very, very famous.
Yeah. So that's your niche. That's where you're aiming at.
Is there
big shoes to fill? But
there's some famous folk festivals in the UK too, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, just trying to give you some broader horizons there, Savannah.
I love that. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. It was a very refreshing interview. It was very good.
Thank you.
So we'll make sure your links are in the show notes. And so we would encourage everyone listening or watching this to check out Savannah Solomon. Next week, we have James Keith on the show. You may remember we've spoken to Robbie Mortimer. James is Robbie's brother. Once again, a son of a famous rugby league footballer. So we'll probably end up talking more footy than music. So, and I don't think Braggy's joining us next week. So
no, I've got a gig next Wednesday night. Sorry, at the Rusty Pelican.
Isn't that your old nickname from school?
Which is right on the water. It's a beautiful venue.
It is
a caravan park. You know where it is, Rossi?
Yeah, I do. Every time I think of Agnes Water and the Rusty Pelican, I know it's a different venue. I always think of the one place where when I caught up with you at Agnes Water and we caught up for lunch, I think. No, it was down at more 1770 area. And you and Robbie Stanny are lying back on the bean bags, right? I mean, how many coffee shops or fish and chip joints have bean bags? And you're trying to write a song, and
I'm still trying to write that song.
And it was just one of the most laid back experiences of my life. So it was pretty cool. If you've enjoyed this show, please like and subscribe. We deserve to be found because we help you find undiscovered artists. We are the original podcast sharing undiscovered music. So please share us around as well. As always, it's been a pleasure catching up with my two co-hosts, Rossi, the celebrity roadie, and Braggy, the gallivanting musician around the world. And Savannah, once again, just a joy to meet you tonight.
Yeah.
For everyone else, we will see you all next week.
Next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
She lost her soul in this small country town where the river meets the sea. It's hard to move forward in such a stagnant place when your dreams can move mountains and valleys. Because she was dreaming of a faraway place in her mind. She was working every day, not much time for a living. But life is made from sacrifice, and we have stepping stones for a reason. Because she was dreaming of a faraway place in her mind. A place where she could begin again, where she could leave her old life behind.